A very good afternoon to all our fellow chartered accountants. I am CA Priyambada, Secretary of the Committee on Promoting Work-Life Balance, here on a special webinar on emotional intelligence. I warmly welcome CA Siddharth Agarwal, our speaker of the webinar, as well as CA Pia Tareja, the moderator of our webinar. I thank both of you for coming here and taking time for such an initiative. So this Committee on Promoting Work-Life Balance, is newly formed, a newly constituted committee in this council year, that is 2025 and 26, under the leadership of our President Sir, C.A. Charanjot Singh Nanda Sir, as well as our Vice President Sir, C.A. Prasanna Kumar T Sir. And the committee is being run by the chairman of the committee, C.A. Jayachera Sir, as well as the vice chairman of the committee, C.A. Sridhar Mupalla Sir. So this committee's objective is to enable our chartered accountant and to help our chartered accountant to focus on their personal life along with their professional excellence. We are usually into our technical terms. Since we all are chartered accountants, we already are filled with the deadlines and everything. And we have many committees across India by ICI on the technical terms. Like we have direct tax committee, we have accounting standard boards, auditing standard board. But yes, for focusing on our professional, our work life, this a new committee has been formed, which is a purely non-technical committee, but on the other hand, a very important committee, an important initiative taken to advise you, to encourage you, to give yourself time, your family time. Everything is equally important at this stage. So, not taking much time, today's webinar is on emotional intelligence, where our speaker and our moderator will be helping you out and encouraging you to focus how the emotions can help you achieving the professional excellence and in time efficiency, so that we could devote more time on ourselves also. So not taking much time, I welcome CA Priya Taleja. Please, over to you, CA Priya Taleja.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for introducing me. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar titled Mind Over Margins, Emotional Intelligence for Chartered Accountants. I am CA Pia Talreja and I'll be your moderator today. We are delighted to have professionals like you to join us explore on how emotional intelligence can elevate your career, enhance client relationships, and foster personal growth. Let me give you a brief about the Work-Life Balance Committee as said by CA Priyambada ma'am. The committee is headed by respected Chairman Sir CA Jayachera and Vice Chairman CA Sridhar Mupalla Sir. They had taken significant initiative across all domains of work-life balance and to strengthen the mindfulness and physical activity. The committee is running Fit CA movement, daily virtual wellness sessions of live yoga in the morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. from Monday to Saturday, and live Zumba sessions from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. 3 days a week, that is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. The committee requests you all to utilize this opportunity, and for further details, please visit committee's page at icai.org. To let me just thank you. Now at the begin, we have for the main session, I would like to welcome our speaker of the session, CA Siddharth Agrawal sir, who is a result-oriented chartered accountant and law graduate with 8 years of specialization in tax, succession, real estate, and data protection laws. As we know, emotional intelligence or EI is the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and influence our own emotions and those of others. It's a critical skill that goes beyond technical knowledge, helping us build trust, communicate effectively, and navigate complex situations. Sir will be navigating us with understanding, cultivating, improving, and executing the emotional intelligence in our professional path. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, CAPM ma'am, for the introduction. First of all, a very special thanks to the committee for providing me this opportunity. Now, good afternoon, everyone. Today, we have the topic Mind Over Margins Emotional Intelligence for Chartered Accountants. As chartered accountants, we are the architects of the financial world. We speak the language of numbers, we live in the logic of spreadsheets, and we are trained to find clarity in the chaos of data. We spend our entire careers ensuring that the margins add up. But I want to ask a question today that isn't in any textbook. What happens when the numbers add up but the people don't? We all have all seen it, a technically perfect audit report that gets rejected because of a breakdown in communication with the CFO, a brilliant tax strategy that fails because the client didn't trust the advisor, or a high performing firm losing its best talent because the leadership lacked empathy. In our world, we focus on hard skills, but the hard skills are what get you through the door. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is what keeps you at the table. Welcome to Mind Over Margins. For decades, the CA profession was a test of IQ, of memory, logic, and technical mastery. But we are living in the era of 2026. Automation and AI are now handling the margins. They can reconcile, they can flag outliers, and they can generate report in seconds. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with the human margin. Emotional intelligence isn't about being nice or soft. In a professional context, EQ is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and influence the emotion of others. When a client is panicked because of a GST notice, they don't just need a legal interpretation. They need a calm leader who can de escalate the situation. When a junior staff member makes a massive error during peak season, they don't just need a correction, they need a mentor who knows how to deliver feedback without destroying morale. That is mind over margins in action. If we are to audit our own emotional intelligence today, I would want us to look at it three specific pillars. Self regulation, that is the internal margin. In our profession, stress is a constant. We have deadlines that don't move and laws that don't change overnight. And if they do, they change in a drastic way. Self regulation is the gap between a trigger and your response. It's the ability to stay composed when a meeting goes south, ensuring our internal margin doesn't deplete to the point of burnout. Cognitive empathy, the client margin, this isn't just about feeling for someone, it's about understanding their perspective. When we look at the client's business, we see a profit and loss. They see their life's work, their family's future, and their greatest fears in it. We bridge that gap with empathy, we stop being a consultant and we start being a trusted advisor. Every negotiation, whether it's for a fee or a complex audit point, happens on an emotional level before it happens on a financial level. If we can read the room, we can win the room. So, how do we apply this? I want to give one simple tool to take back to our office. I call it the 6-second audit. Before we send a sharp email to a non compliant client or before we react to a mistake by our own team, just wait for 6 seconds. Don't just reply in a hurry, just wait for 6 seconds. In those 6 seconds, our brain moves from the emotional center to the logical center. Ask ourselves, is my response going to protect the margin or is it going to damage the relationship? Usually, the answer will change our entire approach. Colleagues, the most successful CAs I know are not just those with the best technical minds, they are the ones who have mastered the art of human connection. As we will go through this session, I want us to remember our technical skills will get us the work, but our emotional intelligence will get us the career. So, here we all are for a great career. Let's stop obsessing only over the margins of the paper and start investing in the mind behind the margins. So this is a small introduction of the session that I had given you, that what all things that we will study and we will learn today. With this, I will start sharing my screen. Ma'am, kindly confirm me if my screen is visible.
Sure, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So as we all know, the topic for today is Mind Over Margins, Emotional Intelligence for Chartered Accountants, a comprehensive guide to mastering emotional intelligence in the accounting profession. That's the need of the hour to build rapport with our client, to build connections with our client. Now the session overview, why technical excellence isn't enough anymore. The accounting profession has evolved dramatically Today's chartered accountants face complex challenges that go far beyond number crunching and compliance. Technical skills opens door, but emotional intelligence determines how far we will go in our career. It's the EQ which determines how long we will be able to retain our clients. Getting the clients is also tough, but it's more tough to retain that client. The modern CA reality, managing demanding clients with conflict priorities. Nowadays, our clients are becoming more and more demanding, and their priorities are also getting more and more complex and conflicting. Leading teams through intense deadline pressure. We all have experienced 31st December. 31st December was the due date of so many things: GST audit, GST annual return, GST reconciliation statement that we are talking about, and the due date for belated return under Income Tax Act, also for revised return also, and for ROC compliance also, the date was later extended. So we all have feel this situation of leading teams through intense deadline pressure on 31st December. Making sound judgments under stress. This is also a very important facet of our life, that how we respond in panic situations. Building lasting professional relationships. That's the very important goal of our practice, that we build long lasting relationship with our client. Critical competency, emotional intelligence, our professional edge. Emotional intelligence is the professional edge that will distinguish us from others. In high pressure environments, what happens? Emotional intelligence help us navigate audit deadlines, tax seasons, and compliance pressures with composure and quality and clarity. If our EQ, that is emotional quotient, is high, it's good, then it will help us to navigate these deadlines, the tax seasons, and pressure environment more easily and in a better and composed way. Client relationships, understanding emotions behind financial concerns builds trust and long-term partnerships. If we can understand the emotion of our client behind a particular project, then it will help us in building a more trustful relationship with the client and long-term partnerships. As we all know, making a will in today's environment is very important, because without making a will and dying intestate will result in huge complications for our legal heirs. So we as a chartered accountant can be the will drafter for our client only when the client has full trust and faith in us. Career advancement. Emotional intelligence distinguishes exceptional CAs from merely competent ones in leadership roles. EI is the deciding factor which distinguishes CAs from exceptional CAs and which distinguishes followers from leaders. Foundation. What emotional intelligence really means for a CA. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions while effectively navigating the emotions of others in professional setting. This is very important. I am again reading the sentence for all of us. Is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions. We have to recognize. First, we have to identify, understand, and then manage our own emotions effectively, as well as managing and navigating the emotions of others. We have to not just think from our point of view and balance our emotions. We have to understand the emotions of others also. EI is not about being soft. It's about being smart with emotions to achieve better professional outcomes. Emotional intelligence not only means that only does not mean that we have to be soft, we have to be polite, we have to be soft, but along with the softness and politeness, we have to understand the emotions of our clients also, so that we can connect with them in a better way. For chartered accountants, this translates to maintaining composure during audits, building client trust, leading teams effectively, and making sound decisions under pressure. That was all the things that I had mentioned in the intro part. That does help us to maintain composure during audits, to do the audit in a composed way, build client trust, to have client trust on us, lead teams effectively so that we can lead our team members more effectively, because we all know that lead by example is the best way of leadership. And making sound decisions under pressure, that is also very important, that we make good decisions under pressure and we don't make decisions that are done in a haste way. We should make good decisions by proper rational thinking. The four pillars of emotional intelligence. This is very important. What are the four pillars of emotional intelligence? The first is self-awareness. We must be aware of ourselves, that what we think of ourselves. What do you mean by self-awareness? Understanding our emotional triggers, strengths, and limitations in professional situation. What does this mean? We all have learned about SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. So if we are doing a emotional audit of ourselves, if we are assessing our emotional skills, then we have to understand what are the emotional triggers, what are our emotional triggers, what causes us to overreact. We overreact on the thing that triggers us. So what causes us that overreaction? What are our strengths? What are the things that don't give stress to us, that don't panic us? And limitation, what are the situations in which we become stressful and we behave in a panic mode in professional situations? So that is the first pillar of emotional intelligence, that we should be self-aware. We should have a thorough analysis of ourselves, of our strengths and our limitation. The next is self-regulation. How, as we had mentioned in the self-awareness part, and we have learned in the self-awareness part, that when we become emotionally reactive, then our overreaction happens. So how can we control our overreaction in a particular situation? How can we regulate ourselves in a particular situation, in a particular stress situation? So that is known as self-regulation. That is how we manage our emotional responses and maintain professionalism under pressure. That is the most important facet of our professional life, that we have to not carried away by our personal beliefs and personal things. We have to be maintain our professional decorum at all times. Empathy. What is empathy? Empathy means that we recognize and understand the emotions of others. Empathy is recognizing and understanding the emotions and perspective of clients and colleagues. For example, if a client has bought a balance sheet, and in the balance sheet we can see that there are a huge amount of loss, and we as a chartered accountant are certainly sure that going concern assumption is in doubt, that we have to write in our report that fundamental counting assumption of going concern is not perfect. Entity is unable to continue as a going concern. We have to mention in this report, but we can mention in the report, but we should not say this in to our client that your business is going to die. We should give composure to our client. We should give support to our client, and we should like this, that it's okay if you are suffering losses, good bad times come, but if we continue to invest in your business, if you continue to remain strong, and if you continue to win the trust of your lenders, then these bad times will pass, and our business, the client business of client, will again revive. So this is how we have to give confidence to our client. Social skills. EQ is very important in building social skills, building relationships, communicating effectively, and navigating workplace dynamics. Now, what do you mean by social skills? We have to build relationships. EQ will help us in building long-lasting relationships, communicating effectively. If we know the emotional quotient of the opposite party, then it will help us in communicating our point more clearly and navigating workplace dynamics. It will also help in understanding the workplace dynamics in a better way. So these are the four pillars of emotional intelligence that we have discussed: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skill. First is we be self-aware about ourselves, self-regulation, then we learn how to regulate ourselves. Then empathy, we should understand the emotion of the other party, and social skills that will help in building relationships. Now, impact, how emotional intelligence directly impacts professional effectiveness. This is very important, that how by having a good emotional intelligence, we impact our professional, we increase our professional effectiveness. How? Better decision making. What it means? Emotionally intelligent CAs separate feelings from facts, leading to more objective and sound professional judgments. Like when we as a chartered accountant are giving any kind of decision to our clients, then we should be able to separate feeling from facts, leading to more objective and sound professional judgments. For example, if we are doing if we are providing investment advisory to our clients, then in investment advisory we should not be guided by our personal bias. We should advise our clients for the best investment on the basis of his potential only, and we should not bring our personal judgment in it, our personal bias in it. So emotionally intelligent CAs are able to make more objective and sound professional decisions, enhance client retention, understand client emotions, builds trust and loyalty, resulting in a stronger, long-lasting relationship. That is very important that we understand the emotions of our client, because when we understand the emotions of our client will feel more close to us, more attracted to us, more attached to us, and that will help in building stronger, long-lasting relationship. Then improve team performance. Improve team performance means what it means. Leaders with high emotional intelligence motivate teams more effectively, especially during demanded periods. Improve when we are having a good emotional intelligence, high emotional intelligence, that it will help us to motivate our teams more effectively in a better way, and our teams will listen to us more and will obey us more, especially during demanding periods when there is a stress, work stress and all. Then it will help them to get it done more effectively and in during demanding periods. So with this, we are on the chapter 1 of this session, managing pressure and deadlines. This is the first chapter that we will go about how we manage pressure and deadlines and how we cope up with deadlines. So emotional challenges CAs face daily. As a chartered accountants, what emotional challenges we face daily? These are some of the challenges that we face daily. Audit season pressure. We all had experienced this. Multiple clients demanding attention simultaneously, tight reporting deadlines, and unexpected findings requiring immediate resolution. Now, what happens during audit season? There are some clients who answer our queries at the last, so that our report finalization gets stuck. So all these clients who respond to our queries at the last, they normally come at the same time on the last date or a day before last date or 2 days before last date, and they demand attention simultaneously during audit, and this led to pressure on our mind, tight reporting deadlines. Like suppose the due date for the audit is 30th September, but most of the times on 29th and 30th September, portal doesn't work the way we want. So we have to do the work by 28th September. We try that we conclude the work by 28th September. So there are tight reporting deadlines and all, and the pressure also comes from after 25, 26 September only, and unexpected findings requiring immediate resolution. Now there are some uh, findings in the audit that we discovered at the last moment. So it is very challenging to give effect of that last minute discovered findings in the audit report in the notes. So all this pressure we face on a routine life. Tax filing crunch, especially in July, last minute client documentation. As we all know, nowadays in income tax returns and other returns, the department has more data. AIS and TIS are flooded with information about the client transactions. So we have to incorporate all those transactions when we are filing the income tax return, and any other information that the client has brought to our notice at the last time. So that last minute client documentation also adds to our pressure. Complex calculations under time constraints. We have limited time, and because we have to complete the return season by 31st July, and that complex calculations takes a lot of time, especially in if we talk about derivatives and speculation transactions and the cryptocurrency transactions. They are very difficult to calculate because most of the platforms that are being used by this cryptocurrencies and other things are not very great in generating their reports. And regulatory compliance pressures. We have to face the compliance pressures on a regular basis, that we have to do this thing by a particular date, and if we are not able to do this, then it will result in penalties and late filings. Compliance deadlines, regulatory changes. Regulatory changes are taking place every day here and there. So it's very difficult to, it's getting more and more difficult to keep in line with those regulatory changes, to keep ourselves updated with those regulatory changes. Documentation requirements, we have to have take n number of documents from our client regarding the management responsibility and management assumptions and management assertions. So all these things are there which we have to document. And the weight of professional responsibility for accuracy, that is also a very important factor, that we are continuously responsible for any opinion that we give on the client's data. So our responsibility as a professional is always a big challenge for us, that we report in the best ethical manner. And for this, we require a lot of information which many times is not readily available with us. Recognizing stress signals before they escalate. Now, most of us will agree that stress factor has increased in the last few years, especially after department has got more and more tools to track clients' behavior. So this has resulted in more reporting, more compliance, and more responsibility on the CA. So we have to recognize the stress signals which deteriorate our health before they escalate. That's very important that we recognize those stress signals at the earliest, because when they escalate, they will cause more damage. So here are some of the signals. Physical warning signs. What are the physical factors? Persistent headaches or tension. If we are having persistent pain in our head, or we are facing tension, then it is a physical warning signal that our stress signals are rising. Sleep disturbances. If we are not able to take good sleep, complete sleep during pressure times, minimum 8 hours sleep should be there. So if we are not able to get that, then it results in our disturbance in sleep and it causes illness. Fatigue despite rest. If we are taking rest, but in spite of rest, we are not feeling energetic, we are feeling fatigue, we are feeling tired, then that's a sign that our health is not good. Changes in appetite. If there is a deterioration in our energy level and if we are not feeling interested in the work, then it is a physical warning sign. Then there are some emotional indicators which indicate that we are facing stress and we are not enjoying our work. Increase irritability. We are getting irritated on small things. For example, when our article misses a small thing, then we get irritated and start shouting on our article. So that's a sign that we are not enjoying our practice and we are facing stress. Difficulty concentrating. If we are not able to concentrate on a subject, or if we are not able to devote or involve in a subject, so that means our concentration level is decreasing and we are not able to work properly. Feeling overwhelmed. If we are overexcited, or if we are having a habit of or reacting overthinking, that means that we are having a stress. Loss of motivation. If we are having a feeling that why we are going to office, what is the need of going to office, our articles will manage it, our employees will manage it, what is the need of picking our client's phone. So if these signs are there, then there's an emotional indicator that we are having loss of motivation, and loss of motivation is a very big signal of depression. So we have to identify this kind of stress signals before they escalate in order to maintain our professional health. A real world example.
Can we take few questions here?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Yeah, there is a question from Sanchi Gupta. How
Yes.
can emotional intelligence help chartered accountants manage high pressure deadlines and client expectations effectively?
Yes. Uh, Emotional intelligence means that we understand our emotions, we manage our emotions. So if we are able to manage our emotions, emotions include anger, emotions. So if we are able to manage our anger and tension, then of course it will help us in doing our work more effectively. And the second part, that how it will result in getting our clients, as ma'am had mentioned in the question. So if we are able to understand the feeling of our clients, then it will help us in stepping in the minds of our client, and in that way the client will feel more connected. Like we all are doing tax advisory and consulting of n number of clients, but I think most of us had not made more than 10 wheels in our life of our clients. So why we had not made that 10 wheels? Because first factor is probably our client is not aware of the will. The second factor is client is aware of the will, but the will is drafted by an advocate. And why the will is drafted by an advocate? Because we as a chartered accountant are not able to establish a close relationship with our client. Because if we are able to manage, establish a good rapport and a close bond with our client, then of course we as a chartered accountant are the first person to whom the client will approach for making the will, because we are the person who have knowledge of finance also and of law also. And in will, knowledge of finance is also important and knowledge of law is also important. So if we understand the emotions of our client, then I'm sure that more and more clients will approach us for making the will, because the client will have full confidence and full confidentiality in us.
I hope your answer serves her well. Another question is from Madhvi. In what ways can self awareness improve decision making and ethical judgment in the CA profession?
Yes. Ma'am, self-awareness means that we should be aware of our own strengths and limitations. Right? For example, we all have learned have been learning from the last 1 or 2 years that AI is changing the way we work. We all have a famous saying that AI will not replace chartered accountants, but chartered accountants who do not adapt to AI will get replaced, right? We have this saying so many times. So
Yeah.
suppose I am a chartered accountant who is not well versed with AI, who is a little bit reluctant to learn AI, right? So I have my limitation that I don't know AI. Now, if suppose one of my client approaches me for a AI assignment, then I have two options: either to accept that assignment or learn AI. I have three options. First, I accept the assignment and learn AI, and then give my decision. Second is I politely say no to my client that I am not aware on this subject, so I won't accept your assignment. Third is I don't know the subject, but still I will try to consult my client. So if I am on the third answer, that is, I am not having the knowledge of I am not having the knowledge of my awareness. I am not aware that I am lacking in AI and still I accept the assignment. So in that, whatever decision of consulting I will give to my client, I will not be able to do justice with it. So if you are aware of your strengths and limitations, then it will surely help you in advising and deciding in the best manner.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
I hope I have answered this question.
Yeah. Another question from Tushar. How can CAs balance long working hours during audits and tax seasons without compromising mental well-being? That's, I think, most asked question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very great.
Need of
Yes,
our
that's a
profession.
very
Yeah.
connected question, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, sir, whenever we are doing audit or any kind of, we are sitting in front of systems. So first is that there is a 20-20 rule that after every 20 minutes or so, if we take a 20 seconds break, then it will give relief to our eyes. Because in audit season, we all have faced that after few hours, 6 appears 9 to us, and 9 appears 6 to us, 5 appears 8 to us, right? It happens with us. 1 appears 7 to us. So that happens because we are not giving rest to our eyes. And if we continue, if we take break after every 20 minutes for 20 seconds to 30 seconds, then it will enhance our efficiency and it will lesser our stress.
Yeah, that's a nice rule. I've heard first time after 20 minutes, take 20 seconds rule. We just thought work for 2 hours, 3 hours, then go
Um,
4 or 5 minutes break. Usually we
yeah.
do this only in our profession.
our eyes stress gets stressed, and when our eyes get
Yes.
stressed, then we don't connect with the screen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we should follow all this for our better well-being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Another question, sir. Devesh Bhardwaj. What is
Hmm.
the toll to manage the stress?
What is
What
the
is the
toll to manage
toll?
the? Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, first we have to work on our routine, sir. If we are able to denote 30 minutes of physical activity to our body, whether it's walking and to our mind, if we are able to devote time to our mind and body, that is meditation and walking or running or gym, any kind of physical activity we like, then of course it will release our stress at the beginning itself. So if and if so, this is the way that in which we can provide relief to our mind and body. And for relief to our eyes, I had already discussed that don't sit for long hours in front of screen. Take break after every 20 minutes. It will surely improve our stress factor also.
Perfectly said, sir. We should always listen to our body first. We should at least devote 50 minutes or 1 hour to our body. That's our body is our soul, then we should do that.
Body is our greatest asset, ma'am. Everything is
Yes.
after body.
Yeah. So now you can continue with the session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now we will move to a real world example, the audit crisis that we were talking about. It's September 28th. We are managing three audit finalizations simultaneously. One client just revealed an undisclosed related party transaction. It's already September 28th. Portal is not working in the way we want, and we are managing three audit finalization at one stretch. The one client just revealed an undisclosed related party transaction. What happens? We were almost on the verge of audit finalizing the audit report, and the client has just disclosed an related party transaction that was not reported to us earlier. Our team is already exhausted. It's already 9 p.m. in the night, and we are already exhausted. And our partner of our partnership firm wants updates every hour. So what we do? We have two situations: low EI response. That a person with low emotional intelligence, what he will do? Panic. He will get stressed, blame the client. We will blame the client that what are you doing? Why you are not disclosed it at the earliest, and why you are not disclosing it now? Snap the team members. We will snap at team members also that why can't you find it if he or she didn't disclose it, and make hasty decisions. So this is the low AI approach that we won't follow anywhere. And what is the high EA response? This is the way that we can manage stress also. A question was there, how can we manage stress? So this will also help us in managing stress. High EA response, what is the high EA response? Pause. Okay, we have learned that there is an undisclosed related party transaction that has arrived at the last. Now we don't have any option. We have to report it if we have to give the audit report. Right, pause. We take a pause. Just take a 6-second pause. Assess priorities. Just make a assessment of what we have to do right now. If we shout at our team, if we shout at our client, nothing will happen. Things will get worse only. Communicate clearly with all stakeholders. First of all, communicate with the client clearly that since you have not reported it earlier, I may issue a qualified report also. That's the first part. Communicate your stand with the client. Delegate effectively. Then if we are about to issue qualified opinion, or we are about to issue a unqualified opinion with appropriate adjustments and disclosures, then delegate the work to our team that we have to do. Either we have to issue a qualified report if the thing sorts, or if the thing doesn't sort, then we will issue qualified report, and the thing sort, then we will issue an unqualified audit report with appropriate disclosures. And maintain team morale. That is very important, that we should not shout at our team, we should not demotivate our team, we should not make our team feel bad. Our team is our strength, so we should always maintain the morale of our team. Our team should feel motivated because they are working at late night at 9 p.m. for us. They are working overtime for us. They are not working for anyone else. So this is the high EA response that will help us to manage stress also, because stress will be created only when we shout at our client, we shout at our team. So the team gets demoralized, that the client gets irritated, we ourselves gets irritated. So this is the self-caused stress. So we don't have to stress ourselves. We should eliminate our stress. So this is the second alternative that we should follow, that we should communicate clearly with the client that we are going to do this, and we should have full faith in our team. Practical ways to remain composed under pressure. There was a question on stress, so this will also help us to release our stress and feel good. The 5-minute reset. If we are feeling stress, if we are feeling tensed, don't continue the work. Take a break. 5 minutes, listen your favorite song. Do a hobby of your, if you like. Watch your favorite video. Watch a comic video. 5-minute reset. Step away from your desk. First is this: get away from your desk. Leave the desk. Take deep breaths and gain perspective before responding to urgent situations. Right? Because when we take that 5-minute rest, we do not make decisions in a haste. We take decisions after logical and rational thinking and gain perspective. When we take deep breaths, our stress will be eliminated, and then we will gain perspective before responding to urgent situations. So our response will be more rational and more calculated rather than a hasty response. Priority metrics. Now, if we are on the last day of audit and we have a lot of work to do, then we have to develop a priority metrics. Instead of doing all the things, we have to categorize them, and we have to determine what are the most important things. Categorize task by urgency and importance. We have to categorize our task by urgency and importance. Urgent and important tasks are to be done first. Focus on what truly matters rather than reacting to everything. Right? We have to focus on only what the things that truly matters, and we have to don't react to everything that comes to us. Communication first. Proactively update stakeholders. We have to, if we are in a stress situation, we have to first update with the stakeholders our decisions that is going to affect whom. So we have to first communicate with them. Transparency reduces pressure. For example, if I had to issue a qualified report and I am communicating with my client that you had not provided me this, and that's why I am providing a qualified report, so it increases my transparency also, that my chartered accountant is very honest, that he is telling me that because I had not provided this document, I don't have this, so he will be issuing qualified reports. So transparency reduces pressure and it will build trust also with our client. Team support. Delegate appropriately. Right? First of all, team support. Don't shout at our team. Delegate appropriately. We should delegate appropriately. Acknowledge team efforts. We should always acknowledge our team members and their efforts so that they feel motivated. And shared pressure is manageable pressure. And when we do this, then our pressure gets shared with our team and the pressure gets manageable pressure. So this is the 4 things that we have to do. First, we have to take a 5-minute break. Then we have to prioritize what we have to do. Then we have to communicate with the stakeholders and team support continuously. Support our team. Then self-awareness and regulation, the pillar we were talking about. Identifying our emotional triggers. This is a very important part of self-awareness. A question was also how we can aware ourselves. So that is a more detailed on self-awareness. Every CA has a specific situations that trigger emotional responses. We all get angry, and there are some specific situations when we get angry. The situations are different for everyone. Every CA has specific situations that trigger emotional responses, and when we are emotionally triggered, we get angry. Recognizing these patterns is first step. First, we have to understand what are the things that get us angry, and then we have to work on that. If we can't change the things, then we have to change ourselves only, right? So what is this last minute changes? Last minute change is one of the things that can get us, any one of us, angry, that if a client requests a last minute change. So this is the emotional trigger that we have to identify. Last minute changes. Client request major revision hours before deadline. So this is a trigger that triggers our emotional responses. So we have to adapt ourselves to this trigger. We don't have to make hasty decisions, and don't have to shout at the client. We have to take a 5-minute break, and then we have to decide what we have to do. Questioning expertise. Sometimes there are some clients which challenge our expertise and knowledge. Sir, I don't think
Answer? Another glitch.
I think there is a technical glitch. He'll
Yeah,
just
from
join in
Siddharth
another
sir.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Ma'am, till that time, you can share your views on this
Yeah,
topic.
sure. Whatever Siddharth sir has said. Yeah. I truly will take the thing of wait for 6 seconds. Actually, we don't follow that. Wait for 6 seconds. That really is helpful because it teaches us to emphasize the importance of pausing briefly before reacting, especially in emotionally charged situations. If we are in that situation, we will think first emotionally. So just we have to transfer our emotional level to practical level. I think sir is here. Yeah. Sir, not audible. You are on mute.
I think I am audible now, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can carry on.
So identify our emotional triggers, last minute changes we have discovered, questioning expertise, and sometimes our client questions our expertise and mistakes discovered. It is finding errors in our work or team deliverables. So this causes frustration and irritation to us. So these are some of the emotional triggers that we have to work and we have to improve. And then responding thoughtfully rather than impulsively. That is very important. Responding thoughtfully versus reacting impulsively. That is very important, that emotional reaction, impulsive reaction and thoughtful response. What is impulsive reaction? Immediate emotional response driven by frustration, anger or defensiveness. Like the 5 minute break that we had discussed, we are not taking that 5 minute break and we are just responding to the question as it arose to us. Defensive email sent in anger. Like many times we regret that we had sent a mail and now we want to undo it, but the time is gone to undo it. Why it happens? Because we had sent that email in impulse. We had not waited for 5 minutes and we had just sent that email as soon as the trigger happened. Harsh words to team members, we regret this also, that we say some bad words to our team members and then we regret that we should not have said that. Hasty decisions presented under stress. Sometimes we make hasty decisions under stress also, so that we don't have to do damage professional relationships. And when we react in an impulsive manner, then what it happens? It causes damage professional relationship. Our relationships gets hampered. Thoughtful response, processing emotions and considering consequences. This is most important, that after processing emotions and considering consequences, that if I am shouting at my team, if I am sending email in a hash, in a rush, if I am telling harsh words to my team members, then what are the consequences that follow? That are also very important, that we should know, because if we know the consequences, then we would not repeat this. So what we have to do? Pause before responding. Don't reply in a hurry. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. Pause before responding. Consider multiple perspectives. Don't just think the answer from our point. Think the answer from the opposite party side also, that how the party will feel when we provide this answer to the party. Choose words carefully. The biggest battle in the world, Mahabharata, happens because of choose of inappropriate words. Right? So we have to choose words very carefully. Maintain professional relationships. Right? We have to maintain relationships also, because as we have seen in Mahabharata, that there was a Kurukshetra Yudh was there, and when the Yudh was due to use of inappropriate words, and due to the use of inappropriate words, the relationships between brothers and sisters and relatives got damaged. Example, the scrutiny assessment. This is a very important example. An assessing officer questions our client's tax treatment during scrutiny. Right? An AO questions our client tax treatment during scrutiny, which happens most of the times. Our professional judgment is being challenged publicly. The AO is telling that what you have done. How can you do this? So what we have to do? Recognize emotion. We can feel that the tension is rising because the AO is questioning our expertise that how can you do this? Right. So first is recognize emotion. Feel that the AO is questioning us and we are getting a bit tense. We have to admit it. Now the second pause. Take pause and breathe. Take a moment before responding. Don't just say that, how sir, how can you say this? If you say this, sir, who are you to say this? Who are you to question my ability? Then of course the assessment is going to be in a way that is not favorable to us. So we have to take a pause and breathe. Before responding, take a breath. Think with ask oneself, this is a professional dialogue, not a personal attack. He is not questioning our professional judgment. He is questioning the tax treatment of client. First, we have to understand this. Right. So we should understand it's the professional dialogue, not a personal attack. Because if we also start doing the personal attack, then it will not result in good results. We have to understand it's a professional dialogue and respond professionally. That if you had followed a particular treatment and even that treatment is wrong as per standards, no issues. Just give our contention. That's our we think that this has happened and that's why we had adopted this treatment. Just mention what was the reason for choosing that particular treatment. So this will be a professional dialogue and not a personal attack. Maintaining professional calm during disagreements. This is the most important time. We are calm when we are happy. We are composed when we are content. But what happens when someone challenges us, when someone questions and someone doesn't agree with us? This is the most important part where we have to be professionally calm. Listen actively first. Understand the other person's perspective completely before formulating your response. That's a very important thing. We should first understand the emotions of other person. Separate issue from person. That is also a very important fact. We should think that the AO is not questioning us. The AO is questioning the tax treatment followed by our client. And use net neutral language. We should use words that are soft. Choose words that de-escalate rather than inflame. Like, I understand your concern versus you are wrong. If the AO is questioning the tax treatment and if we say you are wrong, sir, then it will not result in good situations. We can say, I understand your point, sir, but I had done this, I had followed this particular treatment and I had allowed this particular treatment because I think this was the reason for following my particular this treatment. So this is the way in which we can calm the situation. Chapter 3 is client relationships, how we can use this emotional intelligence in our client relationships. Understand client emotions behind financial concerns, because when we understand our client emotions, then only we will be able to get an opportunity to draft the will of our client. Clients don't just bring numbers, they bring anxiety, hope, fear, and aspirations. In their balance sheet and P&L, it's not only numbers, it's the fear of their business getting damaged, it's the hope that their business will grow, fear of regulatory authority, and their aspirations also. Recognizes the emotions, transforms how we serve them. Fear of compliance issues. Client always have a compliance issue. Fear, will I face penalties? Is my business at risk? Growth aspirations. He always wants to grow. Can my business expand? What's financially possible? What is the incentive? What are the government initiatives? Tax burden anxiety that we always clients ask. Am I paying too much, sir? I'm paying too much tax, sir. My colleagues are not paying. That most of the clients tell us. Are there legal ways to reduce this? How can we reduce this tax? So we have to understand what the clients wants emotionally. Use empathy to build trust. Empathy is very important. Empathy is understanding the emotion of others. When we understand the empathy, when we get emotionally connected and empathic to our clients, then surely the client will choose us for drafting the will. The empathy advantage: when clients feel understood, they become more transparent, share information more readily, and remain loyal even during challenging times. That is the most important part. For example, if I'm making a balance, making an audit of my client, I'm doing an audit of my client, and for this I am having all the financial information of my client, but still the client is not choosing me to make the will because will is the most confidential document, not the financial statements. All listed concerns have their financial statements in public domain, but no one has will in public domain during his life. Of course, after life, if there are some disputes, then will can be brought in public domain before courts and regulatory authorities. But when our clients feel understood that, and when we become more connected, they become more transparent, share information more readily. Then they will be ready to share information that is only with them also, and remain loyal even during challenging times. And the client will be with us even during our bad times. And empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything. Being emotionally connected with client doesn't mean that we agree to everything that is being demanded by the client. It means acknowledging their perspective before providing professional guidance. That we have to acknowledge their perspective, that what they want before providing our professional opinion. 3 times client retention, high retention rates for CAs who demonstrate empathy. That is a 100% right statement. If we are empathic to our clients, if we are emotionally connected to our clients, then there is a 3 times client retention. 85% referral rate. If a client is emotionally connected with us, then the client will also refer us that sir is very good, sir is a great work, sir is very considerate, sir is very compassionate. And so referral rate is satisfied 85% of satisfied client refers other based on relationship quality. So when we build a relationship with our client, then we will get a referral. Now, what is the example now? The struggling business owner, right? I have a client who is struggling in his business. A client situation, a long-term client's business is facing cash flow problems. The client is not able to generate cash. They are emotional, defensive, and reluctant to share complete information. When a business is not able to generate cash, they are stuck with their lenders, their creditors, their suppliers, and so they become defensive. And they are not willing to share complete information because they have a fear that that information might be leaked, that if it become known to their lenders that they are in cash strain, then the lenders will start asking for money. They are considering questionable practices and they are doing anything to save their business. So what is the empathetic approach? I have seen this situation is incredibly now. If a non-empathetic CA is there, then the CA might comment, your business is going to die. It's just 1-2 years that you will survive, and I request you to pay all my fees before your business dies. So that is a non-empathetic approach. And what is the empathetic approach? I can see the situation is incredibly stressful. You try to connect with your client. That if I tell this situation is incredibly stressful, then the client will feel that the CA is also part of my family. You have built this business from scratch and protecting it matters deeply to us, right? Show your importance that you are equally interested in protecting your client's business. Let's explore all legal options together to find the best path forward. And when we tell these clients, sir, okay, your business is in loss, I understand, but I am ready for each and every situation and every option that we can explore to save your business. And what is the result? Clients open up about full financial picture, accepts professional guidance. The client who was defensive now opens a full financial picture. Actually this is the debt that is on 31st March 25. But after this also I had taken a lot of debt. So this is the situation on till date. And so he opens up the full financial picture, accepts our professional guidance, implements sustainable solutions, and maintains trust in our expertise also, right? And even if a business is not able to generate profit, then also there is an opportunity for us. We can also arrange a slum sale for the business, right? So instead of just questioning the client's perspective, we should understand the client's perspective. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, sir. Can we take few questions? One is of my interest
Ye-
also.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
One question is from
Sure,
Himani
ma'am.
Vashisht. As a women community, I would also love to ask, is it true women have low emotional intelligence naturally? If yes, then how to improve it? Is it so?
Ma'am, I am a married person, and when I talk about my wife, then I do tell that my wife has a better EQ than me.
Okay, okay. So this is
There are
not
there
true,
are some
basically.
situations. Yeah, it may be, but ma'am, no, I don't agree with the statement that women have a low emotional EQ because, ma'am, for generations where we have seen that women are the carriers of family, they are the homemaker.
Yeah, exactly.
In the last in the in the last 15-20 years, we have seen that women have stepped out of the homes, but traditionally, and even we women have stepped out of the home, then also they are fulfilling dual responsibility. They are fulfilling their professional obligations also, and they are fulfilling their social and home obligations also.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
And so,
ma'am,
do you think that
my
women
personal
follow all
opinion
the
is
home?
women,
Yeah.
yeah, because women are able to satisfy all the constituents because they have a high emotional quotient.
Hmm. Yes.
Because they are the givers. They always give. They know how to give.
Yeah. Actually, so this statement is far across, according to me, also, maybe this is not true.
Yeah,
Emotional
ma'am,
intelligence
because
in
I
women.
feel because I'm just doing my professional works, but my wife is handling professional responsibilities also. She's also CA. She's handling professional responsibilities also,
Yeah.
home responsibility also, kids responsibility also. So
Yeah.
I think that you are God gifted in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So I
And one more
personally think that
question.
women,
Yeah. Sorry,
yes,
sir.
ma'am. I personally think that women have a better EQ than men. That's my personal
Oh,
opinion.
that's so nice. Thank you. One more question is from Pankaj. What role does
Hmm.
emotional intelligence play in handling workplace stress, burnout, and professional fatigue among chartered accountants?
Ma'am, we had talked about the same that first is the whenever you are in a stress situation, don't respond in panic. Take a 5 minute break. That's the most important part because it has happened with me also one or two times. Then I send a mail. Then after sending a mail, I was looking for the undo button and the undo button was disabled because after 15 or 20 seconds you cannot undo a mail. And that has happened with everyone that we sent a mail and then afterwards we regretted why we had sent this mail. It was better if we had not sent that mail.
Yeah,
So, but just by giving 5 or 10 minutes to us before responding to anything, we will be able to cope up with 60% of our problems.
respectfully versus reacting
Yeah,
impulsively.
yes,
Yes.
respond thoughtfully.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So carry on the session.
Okay, thank you. Managing difficult clients and sensitive conversation. That is very important. Prepare mentally. If we are having a meeting with our client, then prepare mentally that what can be the possible emotional reactions from our client and how we can plan responses to that reactions in advance. That is the best thing because it will give us an edge. Choose the right setting. If we are having a conversation about creating a will, then don't let other clients sit in our office. If we are talking to a client, it should be completely discreet. Not even our article or not even our staff should be there because the will is a very confidential document and we should give the client the feeling that his confidentiality and privacy is being fully protected. Choose the right setting. Difficult conversation deserve private and comfortable environments. It should not be that I am talking with my client and my article comes with a paper that sir your sign is needed or my employee come with the sheet that sir your opinion is needed. No. If we are doing a very sensitive conversation, then it should be only we and our client, right? Lead with facts, present objective information before discussing implications. Like I am making a will from a client. I am telling my client that, sir, if you die without making a will, then you have 5 children, and then your property will be distributed between your 5 children and your wife, and all of those 6 people have to be present everywhere if they have to be sell property, and all 6 have to be provide their consent. So instead of taking 6 consent, you can make a will that your this property goes to this person, this property goes to this person. So in that way, they all can have a exclusive possession of the property after your death. So I had to provide them with facts that this is the reason I am telling you to make the will. Acknowledge emotions, validate feelings while maintaining professional boundaries. I suppose if my client is telling, okay, I have 5 children, but I am not happy with my 3 children. Only my 2 children are good and my wife is good. Then we have to accept those emotions, and we should not say that no, no, sir, 5 are there, so we should distribute among 5 only. It's the on the client that with whom he wants to share his state. Offer solutions. Always present actionable next step and options. We should offer solutions to every problem, because only when we will offer our solutions, then the client will feel connected. Leadership and teams. This is also a very important thing, that how emotional intelligence will help us in leadership positions and leading the teams. Applying emotional intelligence while leading teams. Leading article assistants, junior staff, and audit teams require more than technical knowledge. It demands emotional intelligence to inspire, guide, and develop talent. That is also our job, to inspire our staff, to guide them. Clear expectations. Set goals with empathy for individual capabilities and growth areas. We should set the expectations considering the talent skill of every employee and his emotional skills. And we should mention our expectations with the staff. Constructive feedback. Deliver criticism that builds rather than diminishes confidence. If feedback after every task is being done by our staff, we should provide a feedback, and that feedback should be constructive. It should not be destructive. That you are not doing this good, you are not this good. Not no, no. Language should not be this. Language should be, you have done this task in a very good manner, but there are some one or two situations in which you can further improve. So this enhances our credibility and also makes the feedback constructive rather than destructive. Emotional support creates safe space for team members to express concerns. There should be dialogue with the team. Team should not be like this. The team is not able to speak with us. We should be approachable with the team so that the team can express their concerns with us. They should feel connected with us. That's a very important, right? Then to express concerns and challenges. If a team is facing problems, then also we should be approachable to listen their problems. Recognition, we should acknowledge efforts and celebrate wins, especially during tough periods. Like most of us have a practice of having a celebration after audit season. So this helped in recognizing our staff and acknowledging their efforts, because they had moved out of the box and have helped us to complete the deadlines. Motivating team during workloads, peak workloads. That is also very important. We have to keep motivating our team. What doesn't work? Ignoring exhaustion and pushing harder. Like for example, if my employee is working for 2 hours and I am just looking at the face, and by looking at the face, I can feel that the employee is getting exhausted, then I should not push hard. I should say to my employee that you have worked for so much time, take a break. I should not say that no, 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 you work for 2 hours more. We have to do this right now. No, this is not the right approach. Using fear or threats to drive performance. If I say to my employee that if you don't do this, I will fire you, then it won't create a good relationship, and my employees will be feel feared and threatful. Taking credit for team achievements. This we should not do anytime. That if a team has worked and they had completed the work, then we should give credit to them and we should not take credit for their achievements. Being unavailable when team needs support. That if my employee is feeling stressed, is feeling unconnected, is feeling failed in my organization, then I should be available, should be always available with my employee for conversation, because by talking with me, most of his concerns will be resolved. So I should be available. What works? Now, what we have to do in stress times? Acknowledging the difficulty openly. If there is some challenge in the office, if we are facing some difficulty in the office, then we should acknowledge this. Okay, we are facing this difficulty, and we should ask our team in what way we can improve this difficulty. Working alongside the team when possible, whenever possible, be with your team, uplift your moral, uplift their moral. Providing small breaks and encouragement. Like if an employee has been working hard and he or she seeks a 1 or 2 day leave, then we should not deny it. We should accept it. Sharing credit and expressing gratitude. We should give them credit and be thankful to them that because of their efforts, our work is finished on time. Now there are some conflicts with our organization also. For example, audit team conflict. Two senior team members disagree on audit approach. There are two senior team members who disagree on a particular audit approach. Tension is affecting the entire team morale and productivity. And the deadline is approaching. The team can't do because they are the senior audit team members and they are differing on their opinion, and the team is confused that which opinion we have to follow. So what we have to do as a person with control, individual conversations. We should meet each of these two senior team members separately to understand their perspective and emotions. First, we understand what each of them wants. Of course, there are two interpretations and they both are agreeing on a different interpretation, but we have to understand what each of them want. Then acknowledge valid points. This is the most important things, that if I say to both these people that you are wrong, then it won't solve. We have to acknowledge valid points. Of course, in both of their interpretations, something will be right. So we have to acknowledge that valid point and recognize the merit in both approaches, so that the both persons will feel connected with us, that we are acknowledging their viewpoint. Then facilitate resolution. Then we have to bring them together to find common ground focused on client needs. Then we have to bring both of them together, that okay, this is good in both of your points, but we have to choose a particular path, and so we have to facilitate resolution among them. Team communication, address the team, reinforce unity, and refocus on shared goals. After your decision, you should communicate with the team that we have decided this course, and so that there is unity among the team, and none of the two senior team members should feel that his or her importance view is not getting importance. Everyone should feel acknowledged. Resolving conflicts with emotional maturity. That is very important. Stay neutral. Avoid taking sides based on personal preferences. That's the most important thing. We should not be biased. We should be rational. Focus on facts and professional standards. Create safe space. Ensure all parties feel heard without fear of retaliation or judgment. Work culture should be very safe. Everyone should feel that he is involved in the organization. Focus on solutions. More conversations from blame to collaborative problem solving. We should not blame anyone. We should move conversations from blame to problem solving. Follow through, monitor resolution implementation, and address lingering tensions promptly. Now, whenever we see a tension developing in our office or a thing which is creating a bad atmosphere in our office, then we should not wait and watch. We should immediately try to resolve that by having a conversation with all the affected parties. Because if we follow the wait and watch approach, then it will result in escalation of tension. And the chapter 5, ethics and judgment, how the EQ will help us in ethics and judgment. Right? This is what the EQ will help us in, ethics and judgment. This is how it will help. Emotional influences on professional judgment. What it means? Emotional influences on professional judgment, because we are carried away by a emotional trigger. Even the most technically competent CAs can make poor decisions when emotions override rational thinking. Understanding these influences is crucial for maintaining professional standard. This is a very important line, that even the most technically competent CAs can get carried away and they can make poor decisions when emotions override rational thinking. Right? And what are the emotional influences? Pressure to please. If we are having a thought emotion that we have to please our client, we have to make our client happy, then it is a pressure on us, that fear of losing a valuable client may tempt compromise on standards. So fear of losing is an emotional influence, that we may lose a client. And because of that fear of losing a client, the same emotional trigger is causing us to compromise on our standards, which is not a good sign. Financial incentives. Personal financial stress can cloud judgment on fee negotiations or service scope. That's a very important factor, that if I, as a chartered accountant, I am having a huge pile of debt, then that huge pile of debt can cause me to behave in an unethical way, because my first objective is to clear my debt, and in order to clear my debt, I can take assignments that compel me to compromise my ethics. So, personal financial stress can cloud judgment on fee negotiations or service scope. And if I am having debt, then of course I will not have edge in fee negotiations, because I will be ready to do any work for any cost, because I had to repay my debts. Personal relationship, friendship, or family ties with clients may affect objectivity. If a client is very familiar or a family ties, that may affect objectivity, but it is our job to maintain integrity and objectivity. Ego and pride. That is also a very important emotional influence that we have. Reluctance to admit mistake. We all make mistake. As a human, we are bound to make mistakes, but it's equally important to accept the mistake. We all do mistakes, but we all don't accept the mistake readily. So reluctant to admit mistake or seek second opinions when needed. We have to also acknowledge that we are not perfect in every task. We can seek second opinions when needed. So that is also a important part, and we should admit our mistake whenever we make it. Staying ethically grounded amid pressure. That is also a very important thing. How we stay ethically grounded in pressure. Your ethical anchors. Remember your professional oath and responsibility. We should always remember our professional oath and responsibilities, that how as a chartered accountant we are viewed in the society, and we should uphold our professional standards, and we should work only in consonance with those standards, considering long-term reputation over short-term gains. For a small short-term gain, we should not hamper our reputation. That's the most important thing. Consult with peers or mentors when facing dilemmas. If we are facing any kind of confusion or dilemma, then we can consult with our peers or mentors. And we should not feel reluctant to consult them. It's okay if we are consulting our peers. Document your reasoning for significant decisions. If you had made a particular treatment or a particular decision, then that decision or reason should be well documented so that it will help us in future. That if someone asks us on what basis you have followed this treatment, then it will help us to substantiate our treatment. Be willing to walk away from unethical situations. Learn to say no. That is also a very important facet of life. We all have the habit of saying yes, but it's equally important to say no in lives when the situation demands. Because if we are saying yes to a unethical work, then we are being a part of that unethical work. We are unintentionally be a part of that unethical work. We are a abettor to that unethical work. So we should be willing to walk from unethical situations whenever they face us. So EI as a safeguard for integrity and independence. So this is also a very important thing. EI as a safeguard for integrity and independence. How emotional intelligence will be a safeguard for integrity and independence. High emotional intelligence help us recognize when emotions are compromising our professional judgment and provide tools. If we have high emotional intelligence, then it will help us to identify what are the areas in which we are compromising our professional judgment and how we can maintain independence. What are the self-awareness? Recognize when you are feeling pressured or conflicted. When a client is pressurizing us that you do this thing, or or there is a conflict with the client, and we have to take a decision that we have to leave this client. We have to withdraw from this engagement. Then we have to, for this, what is the first important thing? Self-awareness. We should be aware of ourselves. If we are aware of our responsibilities, then only we can disagree from the engagement. We can disassociate ourselves from the engagement. Pause and reflect. Whenever we are being faced with a critical situation of threat or pressure, then we should not take decision hastily. We should pause and reflect. Step back before making decisions under emotional influence. Don't just give the acceptance letter in a hurry. Take your time. Tell the client, I will think of it. And the moment you tell you will think of it, then of course your thinking will be more powerful than your emotional influences, and you will be able to make good decisions under emotional influence also. Seek perspective. If there is a situation, then during that pause, seek the professional opinion of your colleagues and friends. That whether the thing that you are being asked to do is in consonance with the standards. If it's not in consonance with the standards, immediately withdraw from the engagement. Act with integrity, make the right choice regardless of emotional discomfort. Even if the client has threatened us that if you have not accepted my assignment, then I will torture you or I will beat you, then also we have to act with integrity. Right? So make the right choice regardless of emotional discomfort. Whatever be the situation, there are some situations when when we go for bank audit, then the client who is whose account is getting NPA, he tries to threaten us. So in that moment also we act with integrity, that make the right choice regardless of emotional discomfort. So this is the most important point. Professional communication. This is the last chapter. Professional communication. That how EI will help us in professional communication and communicating with with our peers. The power of active listening. So see, the first important rule of being a good speaker is you have to be a good listener. If we cannot be a good listener, then we cannot be a good speaker anytime. Most CAs are excellent in analyzing numbers but struggle with truly listening to people. Active listening transforms client relationships and team dynamics. This is the most important part, because when we listen to our clients feel connected, feel important, full attention. Like when we are in office, when we are conversing with our client, we should put away our mobile and laptop, and we should directly and only communicate with the client. And what we do, we are communicating with client also. We are checking our email also. We are replying at the email also, all at the same time. So we should not do this simultaneous work. We should provide full attention to our client, put away devices, maintain eye contact. Eye contact is very important. If the client is having an eye contact with us, if our eyes are contacting with the client's eye, then it will create a positive relationship with the client. Focus completely on the speaker. Don't interrupt. When my client is telling me problems, then I should not hastily say this, I understand your problem. First, let the client finish explaining his problem. Let people finish their thoughts before formulating your response. Clarify understanding. Like when I had heard the full problem from my client, then I should repeat it, that paraphrase, and confirm what you have heard before responding. That I had heard you, and by hearing you, this is the summary. That this is the summary of your problem. Am I right? So first, let the client understand that you had understood his problem. And when we understood the problem of client, then of course we will be able to solve that. Notice non-verbals. Pay attention to tone, body language, and what's not being said. Also pay attention to client's tone and body language, and understand what's not being said. Communicating advice and feedback effectively. That is very important. When giving professional advice, start with understanding their goals and concerns. Like if a client is with us for setting up a new project, then we should understand what is their goal and concerns, what they want to achieve with this project. Explain technical matters in accessible language. For example, if you are making a will and if I provide that you will die intestate succession, then the most probably client will not be able to understand what is intestate succession. Then I have to explain in lucid language that intestate succession means when you die without making a will, and in that case your assets will be distributed as per Hindu Succession Act or Indian Succession Act or Muslim law. So I had to make him understand that this is the situation when we don't make a will. And even if you are making a will, then say that we will make a will. Don't say testamentary succession, because testamentary succession is a technical matter that won't be readily understandable by the client. Present options with pros and cons. Like if you are making a will, then tell the pros and cons. The pros are that your assets will be distributed as per your choice, and cons are that there might be some your legal heirs which will not inherit in the will. Allow time for questions and processing. After our advice, allow the client time to further question us and further ask us. And when providing feedback, if we are providing a feedback, be specific about behaviors, not personalities. Our feedback should be guided by things, not persons. Balance constructive criticism with recognition. As we are also that criticism should be constructive, not destructive. Focus on growth and improvement. In feedback, we should always put importance on the growth and improvement perspective so that the other person feels connected. Offer support and resources for development. That also we have to do. Handling disagreement without escalation. That is very important. That most of the times arguments turns into fight because we had not considered the disagreement in a composed way. Acknowledge the disagreement. I understand we see this differently. Let's explore both perspectives. First point is acknowledge the disagreement. If client is telling us to behave in a certain way, just tell him, I understand your problem, but I see this differently. Let's explore both perspective. Also, give importance to the client perspective and share our own perspective. Also, find common ground. Identify shared goals or values before addressing differences. If in both the perspective there is some common thing, then identify it and appreciate that common thing so that the opposite party will feel connected with us. Use and instead of but. I appreciate your point and I would like to share another consideration that sounds more better than I appreciate your point, but I would like to share another consideration, right? So, and is better than but. Focus on facts and standards. Ground discussions in professional standards and objective criteria. We have to focus on facts and standards. We don't have to go to any personal bias. We have to just focus on facts and standards, and our professional discussion should be grounded in professional standards. Agree to disagree professionally. That is very important that when we disagree with anyone, we should disagree with our decorum. Sometimes maintaining the relationship matters more than winning the argument. It's always not necessary that we win the argument. We are not in a courtroom, and even if we are in a courtroom, then in courtroom also it happens many times that we don't question the judge. Like in the AO part that we had explained, if the AO is saying that what tax treatment you had followed, then we cannot say to the AO that how can you say this to me, because relationship matters more than winning the argument. Even if we say this, how can you say this to me, then it will not help us in winning the argument. So we should agree to disagree professionally. That is also very important. And the key takeaways. Now, how we as a chartered accountant can improve our emotional intelligence, can develop our emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not a destination. It's not a destination means it's not a manzil, right? It's a continuous practice that strengthens over time. It is a lifelong thing that will continue to strengthen over time, right? It's like कर्म किए जाओ फल की चिंता मत करो. So it's a continuous practice that strengthens over time, and we have to do our karma, and the fruits will follow us all the lifetime till our death. Start small, be consistent, and watch our professional effectiveness transform. Don't overload ourselves. Be small, start small, be consistent, and start improving on a daily basis. It's the thing which we have to develop on our own, and when we start developing it, then we will feel it. And watch our professional effectiveness transform. Practice daily self-awareness. First is if I am getting angry 2 times a day, then I have to identify those 2 times when I am getting angry. I have to identify my emotional triggers. So first notice our emotional patterns and triggers in professional situations. First I have to identify those two situations which is making me angry and which is making me triggering me emotionally. Pause before responding, and whenever that situation arises, I should pause before responding. I should not respond in a hasty manner. I should create a space between emotion and action, especially under pressure. I should give 5 or 10 minutes to myself that I will take a break before responding, because when we take a break, then the anger get diminished, then I won't shout, then I won't get irritated, right? Listen more, react less. There's a famous saying in Hindi, समझदार लोग बोलते नहीं है, right? So we don't have to respond to everything. We have to just notice it and take our time. And we have to, and then the next is नजरों से गिरा देते हैं. So we have to just frame an opinion that if a person is causing us anger, if a particular thing is causing us anger, then we should be away from that person or that thing. If that thing is very important to us, then we should change ourselves to adapting as per that thing or that need. But if it's a person, then we should avoid such persons who causes us emotionally trigger, because when we start avoiding them, then we will reduce our stress and we will be and they will gradually start moving. Because if I am not giving importance to someone, then of course, then after some time that person will distance himself from me. Listen more, react less. That's the most important. Truly understand others before formulating our response. We don't have to answer everything. Lead with empathy. Build strong relationship with clients, teams, and colleagues. Understand the emotion of others. That's a very important thing. Maintain ethical grounding. Let emotional intelligence strengthen our professional integrity and independence. Of course, when we are more emotionally intelligent, our EQ is high, it will help us in maintaining ethics also. Technical skills make us a competent CA, which we all are. And with the advent of AI, technical skills are getting more and more adaptive with AI. Before some years, we used to draft notices manually. Now we all are drafting that notices and replies with the help of AI, and we are getting an outline and structure for the reply, and then we are customizing that reply or response as per our understanding. Emotional intelligence makes us an exceptional one. So we are all are competent CA, no doubt in that, but we have all have to be exceptional also. And how we can be exceptional? By improving our emotional intelligence, by developing our emotional intelligence, by developing our EQ. Because it has been said that the most successful people in the world are not those with very high IQ. They are the one with very high EQ. Because EQ develops us as a person, EQ nurtures us as a person, and if we are able to maintain our calm and composure in difficult situations, then it will bring the best person inside us. Thank you so much for your patient listening. And if there are queries, I am ready to answer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sandhya, few more questions if you allow me.
Yes, sure, ma'am.
How is emotional intelligence different from IQ?
Ma'am, IQ is your ability to uh, grasp. IQ, like we say that in our class, if there are 50 students, and if the teacher has explained a particular topic, like for example, if we are if there are question from my side, and if there are 50 participants in a batch, and out of that 50 participants, if there are 2 3 participants who are able to answer every question that I put to them, then they are the persons with high IQ, right? But suppose if I say to them that you three are very knowledgeable, I know that you three are very intelligent, and now I don't want any one of you to answer. Now I want the rest of the students to answer. And now suppose all three of them say that, sir, how can you say this? We are the most attentive person in your class, and we are replying to every question asked by you. And how can you say this to me? That means that their IQ is very high, but their EQ is not very good. They have to improve on their EQ. They have to understand that I know that they are the IQ gifted students of the class, but others also feel that they are also part of the class. And that happens in every class, that the 2 3 students are the ones who answer most of the questions, and then the teachers say that I know that you know everything, but there are other also, so let others also take part in this question answer session. So this is the part that distinguishes IQ from the EQ.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Next question. Can emotional intelligence enhance leadership skills for chartered accountants managing teams and firms?
It's 100% correct thing, ma'am, because when you are a leader, then you are leading people. And when you are leading people, then the first is that people should be connected with you. Because if the people are not connected with you, then you are not a leader. Then you are a manager or you are a captain, but you are not a leader. There is a difference between being a captain and being a leader.
Yes.
Captain is the one who is imposed as a captain, but leader is the one who is chosen by the public. So when we feel emotionally connected with the people, that suppose if I am a leader and one of my team member comes to me with a problem, then as a leader, I should listen to them. I should understand their problem, and then I should offer a solution if I have. And what if I am a manager, I am a very strict manager, and I tell them, no, no, you can't approach to me this during this time. If you want to ask any questions, if you have any problem with me, any or any other in the concern, then you should call me on Sunday.
Hmm.
Then that is the thing that makes me with a low EQ person, because I will make that person wait for 5 days with the same problem. That if I tell them that, okay, call me on weekdays, call me on weekends, then I am a person with high IQ, but I am not a person with good EQ. And so the team won't feel connected with me. And the moment we feel the team or the person feel connected with us, then the opportunities for flow in every domain.
Yeah, sure, sir. Very nice. How can empathy and effective communication contribute to better client relationships and long-term professional success?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, yesterday only I was sitting with the client. The client was not having a good relationship with the children of the client. The children of the client were demanding money from the client, and the client was not ready to give it. So, ma'am, this is the situation. If I am emotionally connected with the client, then the first thing is I should listen to the problem of the client. That I had fully listened to the problem of the client, that he's not happy with the children, and the children are demanding money from the client. So this is the first part, that you feel that you develop the connection, that you listen the client, and then I offered the solution that you can make a will. If you don't want to distribute assets to your child, then you can make a will, and you can bequeath your wealth in the way you want. So what happened? I just listened to the client. I developed a rapport with the client, and out of that rapport, I created a professional opportunity. That if you are not happy with your client, your clients, with your children are demanding money from you. Your children are continuously demanding money from you on every 1 or 2 months, and so on. And if you don't want to give them any part of your property, then by saying it won't happen, na? Even if the client gets passed after some years, then also that would happen, that my children should not get anything. That will happen only in the case when the client is having a will, that out of his children, this will inherit this, and this will inherit this.
Yeah.
So by just listening to the client, ma'am, we can develop a emotional rapport with the client, and that's the most important. Now, if during the conversation only I would have said that, sir, I am very busy and I don't have any interest in your family dispute, then of course the client will walk from my office, and I don't think he will again come me for any professional communication, because he is not feeling connected with me.
Hmm.
And you know
Yes.
what the next response is given me, sir? My sir, I had created my will 5 years back only, when my children first started demanding money, but I had not executed it. It is with the advocate for the 5 years. And it was with the advocate for 5 years, and now it has arrived at my office for executing.
Yes.
Because he was just limiting himself, that no, no, I want to do this, but I should not do this. But there is a limit to everything, that now he is also thinking that I should do this because my children are not supporting me with any way, and they are just extorting money from me.
Yeah. Very well said, sir. The next question is, how does emotional intelligence support resilience and adaptability in the face of regulatory changes and evolving professional demands?
Sir, whenever there is an regulatory changes, the first sign that we come across, that we have to study this. It creates a little bit of stress, that now we had to again process our mind, and we now have to change our consultancy with the new law. Right. So, ma'am, the first thing is adapting. So when we are emotionally intelligent, what we by emotional intelligent means, we understand our self-awareness and self-regulation. The self-awareness first part is that if I don't update myself, then I will lose my clientele, I will lose my respect. The biggest thing is respect, because if I, as a chartered accountant, I am advising my client on outdated matters, then the client will somewhere feel that the CA is outdated now. CA is not studying, CA is not updating himself with the regulatory changes, and my CA is now outdated. So if I am adapting myself with the regulatory changes, then it is making me confident that I know everything. It is increasing my confidence. That is a sign of good emotional quotient. And it is making me more resilient because my client has no alternative than me. If I am satisfying all the needs of my client, then why my client will go to someone else?
Yes. True, sir. True.
So I had
That
I
is,
I had identified my self-awareness and I had identified my strength. That my strength is I had to be updated. And the moment I decided that I had to be updated, then of course my mind instructed that I have to read it. And the moment I read it, I understand it. My confidence level is on next level.
yes.
I will immediately call my client that, sir, I had gone through the changes and I am ready for all the implementation. Kindly meet me tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for answering. The last question of the session is, how can young and practicing chartered accountants develop emotional intelligence as a core professional competency?
As a core professional competency, yes, there are many counselors in this field. As a core professional, of course, it will help us in life. It will help us in professional life, personal life also. But if we, as a chartered accountant, are exploring the domain of consulting for emotional intelligence, then of course we can develop ourselves in it and we can take sessions for EQ because, ma'am, the biggest reasons for dispute is lack of empathy. Like many times in our professional, in our personal life, it happens that if there is a problem with any family member, like if my child is crying, then the first thing we should do is we should listen to the child. The moment we listen, the child feels connected. And if we start shouting at at the child, and if we start ignoring the child, then the child gets more irritated
Yeah.
because the child is not mature enough to handle things emotionally. And what happens? We just listen to the child and we just be with the part of his pain.
Mm.
Then the child feels connected and the child gradually stops crying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
EQ helps us in every domain, ma'am. If we
Mm.
implement the strategies that we have discussed, then I think we will remember this slides and we will remember this discussion at least 10 times a day.
Yes. I'm trying to do the same with my son also, developing in empathy in him. He's too young for that, 9 years only, but it develops habit, develops by the time only.
And
Since the
ma'am, the
time they are
biggest
born.
challenge I, and the ma'am, biggest
Yeah.
challenge I feel with the this generation kids is that they are not comfortable with losses.
Yeah.
Like even if they lose in the game, they start getting irritated. And it's very important in life to face failures because failures will develop our EQ. Success, of course, will develop, but it's the failure that will bring the best in our life.
Yeah. We are here because of failures only. CAs is known for full of
Yeah,
attempts. Yeah.
absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah.
There was a saying, after May, there is always a November in our times.
Yeah. I was a first attempter, by the way. Then got the chance to
Okay, ma'am,
fail and all. Yeah.
I would also.
Sir, uh,
Thank you.
last question. This is from my side only. How would you handle criticism without becoming defensive? Usually people do that. I also do
Yeah.
that.
Ma'am, ma'am, if some person is criticizing you, then there is, I used to listen a lot of satsangs and good and be with company with saints and all. And there is a saint who has said this. I had also watched a video on the same. निंदक का स्थान माता से भी ऊपर होता है.
Okay.
The person who criticizes you is more respectable than our mom because mom never finds defects in the son and in the child. Mom always have a caring attitudes towards children, and the person who is criticizing you, he is trying to bring your best version.
Yes.
Because if a person is criticizing me that, sir, you have this shortcomings, then of course he is motivating me to remove that shortcoming and be the best person that he wants. So
Yes.
this is the outcome that this is the outlook that we should have towards criticism, that the person who criticizes us is the most respected person for us,
Yeah.
because that criticism will help us in improving us.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who have become successful in their life only because of criticism. If that
Mm.
person had not criticized them, then their emotional trigger won't have happened.
Mm.
Someone has criticized them, and that criticism has motivated them to achieve heights in life.
Mm. Yeah. Certainly, sir. Actually, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for delivering such a thoughtfully structured and insightful session on emotional intelligence, specially tailored to the distinguished community of chartered accountants. You beautifully connected the technical rigor of our profession with the often overlooked human aspects, self awareness, empathy, ethical judgment, and resilience that are essential in today's demanding financial landscape. By keeping the realities of our profession in mind, you demonstrated how emotional intelligence strengthens client relationships, enhances leadership, supports sound decision making, and helps manage pressure with integrity. You addressed not only informed but inspired us to balance professional excellence with emotional maturity, reminding us that true success as chartered accountants lies in mastering both numbers as well as ourselves. For sure, I'll take with me today the concept of wait for 6 seconds. That was really helpful because it teaches to emphasize the importance of pausing briefly before reacting. Usually, we do that, especially in emotional charged situations. This short pause helps us respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally, leading to better communication, sound judgment, and reduced conflict. The difference between responding thoughtfully and reacting impulsively was very well explained by Siddharth sir. Now, for chartered accountants, emotional intelligence is not just a nice to have, it's a necessity. Here's why: it leads to client relationships, team leadership, stress management, then ethical decision making. These are all the points you covered in your session. Now, let's talk about how you can develop and strengthen your emotional intelligence. This was the most asked question: how to develop it. The first one is, as you said, was self awareness. Regularly reflect on your emotions and reactions. Journaling can be helpful. Basically, we have shifted to journaling. We are teaching our kids to journal more. Rather than speaking, journal it more. Self regulation, practice mindfulness and stress management techniques like deep breathing or meditation, as you said. Empathy, put yourself in others' shoes. Listen actively and ask open ended questions. Social skills, improve your communication skills by being clear, respectful, and receptive. This is the must have in our profession because we have to be clear with our clients in that way. Motivation, cultivate a positive outlook and resilience to setbacks. Remember, developing emotional intelligence, as you said, is a journey, not a destination. This is a journey what we have to travel. Small consistent efforts can lead to significant improvement. Now, to wrap up, here are the key takeaways. What I've got from your session, these are the key takeaways. Emotional intelligence enhances professional relationships and personal well being both in hand. It's especially vital for chartered accountants to navigate complex environments. Usually, we deal with all the deadlines. Dates are not just dates for us, these are the responsibilities we follow in our day to day life. By creating a committee, ICAI has obviously helped us to do it better in many ways. Like professionals like you will serve us in a right way to do it better. Continuous learning and self awareness are the foundations of emotional intelligence. Very well said by our speaker. Pause before responding and listen more and react less. These are the main things we have to learn. After a certain age, we can learn. Obviously, maturity can lead to this, but by listening to your sessions and all, at young age also we can develop the emotional intelligence. Mahabharat happened just because use of inappropriate words, just as you said. This was the Mahabharat. This was the history that has happened. So you can easily conclude that words are the biggest weapon. So use them wisely. This is the well said word. Emotional influences on professional
Absolutely.
judgment. Even the most technical complex CAs can make poor decisions when emotions override rational thinking. There was one of my principal was there. I was a article in his firm. He was a well versed CA of our city. He was so used to books and all. He does not communicate. I was there with him article, but he does not communicate. The emotional EQ was really zero, but IQ was in highest level. You can't imagine. So this is we have to balance. He was at of a certain age. He is now 80 plus. So we can't expect that to learn from beginning. So we can start from the very edge. We should be willing to walk away from in unethical situations. Whatever unethical is happening, we should walk away from that. Make the right choice regardless of the emotional discomfort we are facing. We have to make the right choice. As you said, ki phone kiye and all that, regarding ki hamari report bana do or else we'll do this, we'll do that. We should just follow the right path. First, be a good listener. Then only you can be a good speaker or a communicator. Eye contact with the client is necessary to have an effective communication. These are major key takeaways I took from your sessions. This was very helpful. Remember, mastering mind over margins isn't just about financial figures. It's about mastering your mind and emotions to achieve greater success and fulfillment. Okay. And next, the last thing I have to say, your cooperation in completing the feedback form would be greatly appreciated. All the members listening there, I would be really helpful ki you please fill the feedback form, and you are cordially invited to attend the WOFA 2.0 2026 on 30th January to 1st February at Greater Noida. For further details and registration information, participants can kindly search for WOFA 2.0 on their browser. Thank you to our respected dignitaries for taking the time to join us today and for sharing your wisdom and support. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank
Have a wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
ma'am. Your support was unmatchable. Thank you so much.
thank you. Yes, you can end the session. Yeah, thank you.